What's going on, guys? Welcome back to another Houston Kilby episode. I want to thank you guys so much for tuning in. We are now over 200 subscribers, which is really cool. I never really thought it would be over 100, but we're getting there. Again, thank you guys. I know last week we had the Hot Rod Drag Week video, and man, you guys knocked that thing out of the park, and again, thank you. So this week we are doing something a little different. I've noticed a lot of people have been doing a lot of Harbor Freight reviews on what tools they like and what tools they don't like, and I thought I'd show you guys 5 tools that I use that I think work pretty good and are useful and that they get the job done. So let's get into it. Alright, so first off, I wanted to talk about the Harbor Freight Chicago Electric TIG welder. Now, I know you guys have seen in a lot of my videos that I use the big red Lincoln welder. It's the 175 square wave. Yes, I do have the Harbor Freight welder. Yes, this is what I learned how to TIG weld on, and I still use it. We still use it in the shop, and this thing works really well. A couple of things about it. First off the bat, the torch is tough to get used to because of the button is up here. Now, if you'll see on the table here, I do have a foot pedal here on the table, and this is something you can hook up to the Harbor Freight Special. I ordered this from Eastwood. This is the pedal that they use on the Eastwood welders, and so far it works pretty good. I'll give you guys a little demonstration here in just in a minute. But back to the torch here. Something that I found out, just to give you guys some insights to help you if you buy this welder. First off, I really like Gasolin's. It will help you out a bunch. That's the FUPA 12. Awesome products. It'll make some really pretty welds, and it'll help keep your tungsten clean. It's just something that I've learned the hard way. Use these. It'll help you out a bunch, and you'll like it a whole bunch. But anyways, the torch, again, has held up pretty good. I've had this one for I guess probably about 4 years now, and it just keeps on working. And again, yes, you can hook the pedal up to it, and how that works is, would you but pan over here to the welder real quick. You can hook a pedal up to it, okay? So here is the plug-in for the torch head. So if you're using the button for the torch head, that's your plug-in for that. And if you want to use the pedal, you just plug it right in here in this port. Now, Eastwood sells the pedal, and I'll put the link in the description for that bad boy. And you just plug it in and rock and roll with it. It's worked pretty good so far. It does come with the other hookup with the pedal, the hookup to their Eastwood welder. You don't have to have this hooked into anything for the Chicago Electric, and I'm probably going to clip this off just to get it out of my way. But my thoughts on this overall, 1 to 5 star rating on this. I would probably rate this welder at a 3. The reason being is, number 1, it does not weld aluminum. Okay, so if you got a TIG welder and you're wanting to weld aluminum, this is not the TIG welder for you. Number 2, this version of the Harbor Freight welder did not come with a pedal. Now, I know the new ones do, and that's really nice that the new ones do, but this one did not, and that's an extra purchase that you'll have to buy. So for me, 3 out of 5, that's why I have to rate it. It works, it does a good little weld, and I'll show you guys a little demonstration right here. Okay, I've already got everything set up on this thing to do what I'm going to do, and this is a weld that I've already put on here just to make sure it worked. And as you can see, it does a pretty good little job. And just so you don't think I'm trying to lie to you, I'll slap one down here for you. Okay, let's do some welding here. Let's see what this bad boy will do. Alright, we're going to heat it up a little bit, get our puddle started. I'm going to do like a little configure 8 looking dude here for you. See if I can make this look pretty wizard. Oh yeah, I think it's going to look good. Oh yeah. Weld turned out pretty cool. flip this around here for you so you can see it. So that's with the little Harbor Freight welder. I just put something down a little simple there, nothing too complicated. I just wanted to give you guys a little show and tell there what I thought about it, what you can do with it. And again, does not weld aluminum, but for if you're wanting to start out with a TIG welder, you want to learn how to TIG, I highly suggest it. All right, moving on to the next thing. Okay, our next tool that I want to talk about that I like and I suggest to buy, that would be this bad boy right here. The Pittsburgh 1.5 ton jack. Pretty good tool. One thing I like about it automatically is how low profile this bad boy is. And also, it is very, very lightweight. It looks really nice, and honestly for me, I don't care on looks for tools, I just want it to work good. And this thing actually works really well. I can fit this thing underneath my little Subaru Legacy just fine without having to take ground effects off or nothing like that. It will jack up my Corvette no problem, and my Corvette is really, really hard to jack up. It gets really tough to get it in behind the front clip round effect there, and it can be a beast. But anyways, I really like the jack. It pumps really nicely, and it doesn't take too many pumps and you've already went a long ways with it. So this thing works really nice. Rating wise, what do I give it? I would probably have to say I give this thing 4 out of 5 stars. The only reason why I give it 4 stars instead of 5 stars, I would have to say when you go to release the pressure off of this jack when it has a load on it, it tends to really let all the pressure go really quick like that. So it takes some time to get used to, but besides that, good all-around jack. I like it. I suggest it. Let's move on to the next one. Okay, our next item here. Now, the grinder. This is another Chicago electric tool, another Harbor Freight special. This bad boy is awesome little tool. This thing has not let me down yet. Matter of fact, they've actually got a pretty good warranty on them too. And one thing I will say right off the bat is this is the cheaper one, and something I've noticed a lot of people has not talked about is these things spin at a slower RPM versus their more expensive one. So just know that. Now, something I have noticed with this thing, the slower RPMs actually work better with the wire wheel and this other little disc that you can get at Harbor Freight. It works really well because it runs at a slower speed and it seems to be more controllable when you're grinding something. So just a food for thought there. And man, they really knocked it out with this thing. I've had this thing for a long time. It gets the job done. It's 20 bucks. I gotta give it 5 out of 5. I have no complaints with it. It seems to hold up. It uses standard discs, or it also comes with the nut to go in here so you can use cut-off wheels and stuff like that. Works really good. The safety seems to work good on it, and I like the button to be underneath instead of on the side like how some of the newer grinders are now. I see a lot of Porter cables are up here near the handle, which is okay. Just me personally, I like it way back here. I can control it better. Just my thoughts there. Good tool, works great, don't have no problems out of it, and I suggest it for any shop, whether you're just a beginner or you're going to use it to death. No problems, and it's 20 bucks. If it breaks, take it back, get another one. Okay, so let's move on to the next tool here. Alrighty, we're moving right on into these clamps right here, and these bad boys, believe it or not, actually work pretty decent. I I think between me and Blaine, I think we got about 50 of these things, and you cannot have too many of them. They're really cheap compared to like if you get something from Lowe's or Home Depot. And used to, these things were like, you know, around $20 a piece to get one. And Harbor Freight sells them just for a couple of bucks, and that's really nice. They seem to work really well. I have no complaints. Out of all the ones that I have, honestly, I think I've only broke one, and it was because I was using it to hold some metal and I was welding on it and I melt the ends off of it. But anyways, great tool, highly suggest it, no problems, and you really can't have too many of them if you're going to be fabricating, whether it's with metal or with wood. Good little product there. Alright, so lastly here, I know a lot of people talk about these, and I was worried about them at first because they were so cheap compared to like a Craftsman or Snap-on tools. And guys, the impact socket set that Harbor Freight sells, whether it's the metric, which is the ones I have right here, or the standard kit, and frankly any of their other sockets that they have, guys, I can't complain. These things knock it out of the park. I've had these for over 6 years now, no problems, and I'm talking, I used them for anything on my LS motor to working on equipment out in the field. Good product, no complaints, and I've hammered on them pretty hard. So 5L5 on them, 5L5 on them, no complaints at all. But I think that's going to conclude the tools I was going to talk about on this one here. If you guys like this, you want me to do more of this, let me know. I'd be more than happy to review anything or talk about anything if you guys want me to talk about it. But I've enjoyed this. Let's do some more of it. Until next time, you guys have a good one. Okay, good.